Dante's Inferno, a game based on Part 1, Inferno, of Dante Alighieri's epic poem, The Divine Comedy. But I used to think it's a tragedy.
Welcome back to the 25 Days of Fringe-miss, where there's going to be brand-
Wait. Double Fringe-miss. Aw, you only thought you were gonna get 25 videos this year? Look at you. You look silly. But I'm here to fix that because I'm going to give you not only 25 videos, but I'm giving you 50 videos. I have 2 channels. That's 2 Fringe misses. Each day there'll be a brand new video on both channels for 25 days. I haven't slept in months. Enjoy the content. Or don't. Dante's story is split into 3 parts: Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. Ever since high school, I've been fascinated with the Divine Comedy. I found the story within these cantos inviting to one's imagination of what hell, or the representation of hell, to be. In fact, I personally can't think of another story as detailed as this to even begin describing it. And that's not even falling into a religion thing at all. I'm just fascinated with this level of depiction, especially from the 14th century. So in the game, you play as Dante, go figure. Now I could just sit here and give everyone an English class reading lesson based on the major differences from the poem to the game, because there are, well, a lot. So for this video, we're just specifically focusing on the video game adaptation and not really comparing it to how the book was written. Dante's story starts off as him being a Templar knight during the Third Crusade. Now there's stuff that relates back to this. I don't want to really spoil it or jump too far ahead, so just know that he was tasked with watching some prisoners. But during a lot of the fighting during this crusade, Dante is actually quickly stabbed in the back by a mysterious assassin, which leads to the Grim Reaper himself to appear in front of Dante, condemning him to everlasting damnation for his sins. Which brings up the first interesting conflict in the game, the whole, well, the bishop promised we would be absolved of our sins situation, which Dante struggles with understanding as what he believed is just a manipulative lie. Dante basically disagrees with Death, defeats him in a fight where he takes Death's scythe and vows to redeem himself for the sins he has committed. He then sews a red cross-shaped cloth onto his chest, which depicts all of the sins in which he, well, committed. Then Dante finally makes his way back home for a nice rest, maybe grabs some grub, and well, his lover is dead. But don't worry, the soul of Beatrice shows up in front of Dante, but before any real conversation can happen between the two of them, the dastardly devil himself, Lucifer, shows up in a human-like form and takes Beatrice into the darkness. We're not talking J.J. Abrams' Star Trek here. And without hesitation, Dante chases after them, jumping headfirst into a chasm leading him to the gates of hell. This is where we meet Virgil, the spirit of a Roman poet in which real-life author Dante was a fanboy of. And he will basically serve as your tour guide through the underworld. From here on, Dante finds himself fighting through all 9 circles of hell, facing the sins of his past and facing down the devil to save his beloved Beatrice. And Dante is an interesting character to play as. Throughout the story, you really build this empowerment of wanting to see him succeed, but at the same time, when you face each circle of hell's tidings, you learn more about the sins he committed, which also plays into how you choose to play the game. There are 2 leveling systems to choose from to earn XP, holy and unholy. It's your standard moral system, but then you remember it's a video game and you probably just want to murder everything. But the good news is that you can still murder everything, it just depends on how you do it. Do you favor the scythe or your cross more? When finishing tougher foes or when deciding whether or not to absolve damned spirits? And depending on how you level up your skill trees, the attacks and the gameplay style varies, which is nice to see that you can mix and blend a bit of both to create a neutral-based playthrough with unique play styles. Now, in saying all this, you probably have been saying to the monitor for several minutes, but yes, this is a God of War clone, at least in the old style of God of War, not the new Papa Kratos game. And to be fair, it's not 100% just a God of War clone. It does have its own identity thanks to the presentation of hell, and all the moves you can do themselves feel really diverse enough to stand on their own. And the game came out on February 4th, 2010, and do you know what else came out that year? Actually, barely even over a month later? Well, on March 16th of 2010, God of War 3 dropped on the PlayStation 3. Now, the advantage Dante's Inferno had was that it was a multi-plat release with an Xbox 360 version, even though the Divine Edition was a PS3 exclusive. Oh, there was also a PSP version for some reason. But just imagine coming out that close to one of the most critically acclaimed games from the past generation that you are very similar to in gameplay.
This double Fringe miss is brought to you by
Gamer Sups. Hey, you heard of Gamer Sups? Yeah. Did you know it's less than 1 calorie per serving? Yeah. Did you know that it's sugar-free? Yeah. Did you know if you use code FRINGE, you get 10% off your order? Yeah, wait, really? Yeah, just go to Gamer Sups, use code FRINGE, get 10% off. Sick. Are you gonna go to Gamer Sups and use code FRINGE for 10% off? Yeah. You know it helps support the channel, right? Yeah. Do you know that you're really cute? Huh? Since the game itself isn't really that long, really, you can breeze through it within 4 to 6 hours on your first playthrough, let's breeze through all the circles of hell. So shortly after starting your descent, you continue with ripping the head off of a scary talking boat of the dead named Charon. Dante then enters the first circle of hell, Limbo, in which you face the first of many level bosses, the Judge of the Damned King Minos. He decides which other circle of hell you belong to, but not for you. You kill him. Very brutally, may I add. Can't use that tongue anymore. And then literally immediately after that, you enter the second circle, Lust, and you face a giant Queen Cleopatra. And after defeating her and her lover, Mark Anthony, you enter the third circle of hell, Gluttony, where you fight Cerberus, a 3-headed giant worm. The fourth circle, Greed. Greed is basically you fighting your dad. Everyone has daddy issues. Circle 5, Anger. Then you break into the city of Dis, which then leads you into the sixth circle, Hershey. Heresy. That's what I said. Then you play 10 stages of, hey, didn't we do this already? And now the entire journey up to this point has been pretty interesting. Not only has the plot been at a very well-paced speed, never truly making you feel bored of the game or stuck in one area for too long, but the combat is also solid enough to keep you wanting to play. And that's super important in a game like this. The combos have to be exciting. The new stuff you unlock has to be truly different and fun. The amount of cool ways you can upgrade both of your weapons to perform new and exciting combos is extremely satisfying, and I also love the whole mythology of this world, especially from the liberties taken from the book. I unapologetically love Dante's Inferno. I feel like it's a game that may just be lost in time, and it's been literally a decade, and I don't hear anyone ever bringing it up. Usually if I make a mention of it, some people say, oh yeah, I really enjoyed that game, or they say, please leave me alone, sir, this is a Wendy's. Dante's Inferno may not be the prettiest game, especially from its time in 2010, but the gameplay and story are worth the playthrough regardless. Okay, so after the whole long journey, you finally reach the end of it. Not that I really want to spoil the whole revelations that unfold between you and Beatrice as you progress through the story, but the gist of it is basically you are unloyal in your relationship while out fighting in the Crusades on top of the other sins you committed, and Beatrice is slowly being forced into turning into a succubus for Lucifer. Hopefully that all makes sense to you. And then finally, entering the 9th and final circle, Treachery. Leading up to a larger-than-life, half-frozen Lucifer, you fight him and then you end up ripping off the tapestry on your chest and you get a teaser for the sequel.